Hello. How's everybody doing today? Brother John stood on behalf of Lost Sheep Ministries, here to take y'all on another little walk with the word for the day. So today, I got another little important lesson from you. We're not in Psalms today, but I got an important lesson for you today that's going to deal with taking accountability for your actions. Well, more of the choices that you make in your life. And there's a whole lot of Bible, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into it because I want to make sure I get all these comments in before the video ends. So I'm going to share with you is a story out of 1 Kings chapter 2, verses 36 through 46. So it says in 1 Kings chapter 2, the Lord tells us this. It says, "And the king sent and called for Shimei and said unto him, Build thee an house in Jerusalem, and dwell there, and go not forth thence any whither. For it shall be that on the day thou goest out and passest over the brook Kidron, that thou shalt know for certain that thou shalt surely die. Thy blood shall be upon thine own head. And Shimei said unto the king, The saying is good, as my lord the king hath said. So will thy servant do. And Shimei dwelt in Jerusalem many days. And it came to pass at the end of 3 years that two of the servants of Shimei ran away unto Achish, son of Micaiah, king of Gath. And they told Shimei, saying, Behold, thy servants be in Gath. And Shimei arose and saddled his ass and went to Gath to Achish to seek his servant. And Shimei went and bought his servants from Gath. And it was told Solomon that Shimei had gone from Jerusalem to Gath and was come again. And the king sent and called for Shimei and said unto him, Did I not make thee to swear by the Lord and protested unto thee, saying, Know for a certain, on the day thou goest out and walkest abroad any whither, that thou shalt surely die? And thou saidest unto me, The word that I have said is good. So why then hast thou not kept the oath of the Lord and the commandment that I have charged thee with? The king said moreover to Shimei, Thou knowest all the wickedness which thine heart is privy to, that thou didst to David my father. Therefore the Lord shall return thy wickedness upon thine own head. And King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established before the Lord forever. So the king commanded Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, which went out and fell upon him, that he died." You know, life is about choices. That's something we have to understand. Your life is about choices. Your life, where you are now, is a combination of all the decisions you've ever made up until this point. So if you feel like you're doing pretty good and you like where you are in life right now, then it's likely because along life's journey, you've made some good decisions. That's why you are where you at. But if you don't like your situation and things are bad, then likely you are in this situation because you've made some bad choices. You know what I'm saying? So as we look at this guy, Shimei, we see that he had a choice to make. You know what I'm saying? And, and he had a choice to make, and it was because the choice he made, he lost his life. You know what I'm saying? Because the choice he made was literally between, it was a choice of life or death, basically. Now, you may want to sympathize with him and say, well, that wasn't really a choice. That was an impossible situation. Did he really have a choice? But again, you got to understand the choices he made is what got him in an impossible situation. So just to catch you up to speed, if you're not familiar with the story, so what happened was when Absalom, y'all know the situation we covered a few weeks ago with Absalom and David. So when Absalom ran David out of the kingdom, as David was leaving, him and his people, David was leaving his head all covered, sad. So Shimei came out throwing rocks at David. You know what I'm saying? He came out throwing rocks at David, calling him all kind of names, and it said he cursed David. Now, that's something that's worthy of death because David was still a king, even though he got ran off, but he was still a king, but his son ran off and took over his kingdom. So it was worthy of death what he did. So after the whole situation with Absalom kind of dissolved and David got his kingdom back, on his way back into the kingdom, Simeon came out to David, you know what I'm saying, and apologized. Basically like, man, my bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because he thought David was done for, but of course David got his kingdom back, and he wanted to be on David's bad side because he knew what he did was wrong. So he basically came out like, man, my bad, bro. So David was a good dude, you know what I'm saying? He was happy that he got his kingdom back. It was a good day. He said, man, you know what? It's a good day. I ain't gonna even murk you, bro. I ain't gonna even murk you. You know what I'm saying? I tell you what, I ain't gonna even kill you. I'm gonna let you slide. You know what I'm saying? So David did let it slide, but David never did forget. That's the thing. So before dying, he gave Solomon his final instructions on things that he needed to do, certain little pieces of business that he couldn't take care of himself that he needed to take care of. And this guy Shimeon was one of them. You know what I'm saying? So before he died, he basically like, look, I can't kill him because I'm a man of my word. You know, he says that, but I know you're wise enough that you can make it happen without me having to break my word. So basically, David told him, look, don't let this nigga die in peace. He's like, I can't kill him, but you know, you need to come on some way. He don't need to die in peace for what he did. You know what I'm saying? So what did Solomon do? He gave him a choice. And that's how he did. That's how he got him. He gave him a choice. He said, all right, either you can live in this city forever and never leave it, or you can die. You know, the day you leave the city, you can die. Now, again, you may say, well, this messed up. Did he really have a choice? Yes, he did. He had a choice. Now, I agree. His option may not have been the best options. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they was pretty bad. It was one damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. But he had options. Because think about it. It said he had many servants, so he could have just let those servants go and took the L. You know what I'm saying? Because he said two of his servants, which means he had more. So he could have just let them go and took the L. Or he could have just sent one of his other servants or somebody else. He could have hired somebody to go get him. But no, what did he do? He chose to go himself. And it wasn't because he didn't have the options to do something else. It's because he wanted to go. And see, that's what I'm getting at. A lot of times we sin. It's not that we don't have the option to sin. We sin because we want to. See, think about it. It said he had been in the city for 3 years, hadn't left. You know that nigga was going stir crazy. Like, man, I've been in this city for 3 man, forget that. So the first time he got the opportunity and saw an excuse to leave the city, what did he do? He left the city. See, he had other options. He wanted to leave the city. And again, we have other options every single day to obey God or disobey God, but we want to disobey. Because a lot of times we're doing something that we really want to do. It's something that we really want to do. We know we're not supposed to be doing, but we really want to do it, so we disobey. And that's what he did. So he made a choice to go, and because he made that choice to go, he lost his life because of it. You see, whenever you make a decision, whether you're going to be obedient or disobedient, every single time you make that decision, every time you're deciding, matter of fact, you go over in Deuteronomy. I can't remember the exact verses, but it's over in the book of Deuteronomy. There was a right before Moses was about to pass off, he was telling them to obey. And he told them basically said, you know, whether you obey or disobey, you're making a decision between life and death. And that's what you got to understand. Whenever you're making a decision, whether you're going to be obedient or disobedient, you're making a decision between life. You're making a choice between life and death. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that sometimes your situation don't give you the best option, just like this guy Shimeon. You know what I'm saying? It's like when Kanye was talking about slavery was a choice. He didn't articulate it well, but I understood what he was talking about. They didn't have to be slaves. They could have chose death. Now, again, horrible options. Either I'm going to die or, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to go and be a slave. You know what I'm saying? But they had options. They could have died a free man or live as a slave. There was options there. Not the greatest options, but it was options. It's just like drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? They always got man, I didn't have a choice. I'm doing what I got to do. You're not doing what you got to do. You're taking the easy way out. There is options. You get to work a job, regular job. Yes, you're going to have to work harder for a lot less money. It's not going to be flashy, but you have options. I remember I was talking to this white lady one time, and she was like, congratulating me on my success. And I'm like, well, you know, I didn't really have a choice. She said, no, you had a choice. I said, no, I didn't have a choice. She said, no, you had a choice. She said, you chose to go the hard way, unlike most of the people in your neighborhood. So she's like, so stop selling yourself short. You have a choice. So you got to understand something, y'all. You have a choice in everything you do. You're always going to have a choice. You have a choice whether you can be obedient or disobedient. You have a choice whether you're going to sell drugs or work hard. And you also have a choice whether you're going to get to heaven or hell or not. But remember, when you're making these choices, you also have the burden of suffering from the consequences of those choices. So make sure when you're making your choices, you choose wisely. And that has been your little walk with the word for the day. Pray these are blessing y'all. Make sure you like, share, follow, comment. Make sure if you want to catch me, Facebook Live, Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, LostSheepMinistry.com. It's all my little social media outlets. And not 100% sure about your salvation. Reach out to me and let me know. Peace.